my lords, ladies and gentlemen, it is an honour again to come and address this distinguished audience of the equine world. For many years I attended this forum sitting in the main area, and I always found it a really worthwhile and fascinating day. And I do say the word I'm inspired. I'm inspired by the many people who contribute to the vibrancy of the equestrian sector in our country. As I read in Horse and Hound every week, the range of the use of the horse and also the advances in welfare I'm particularly interested in. And we're all here today because we care about the horse and recognise the important role this wonderful animal plays not only in our lives but in the lives of so many. For myself, we are busy preparing the point, which has been on the family farm since 1912, and that again is another extraordinary event when local horses are competing with each other and gives great pleasure. And I think my private office are permitting me to be on a course next week on Friday at Cheltenham, when also we are going to see some extraordinary examples of courage of both riders and, of course, horses. And the forum has for many years been this invaluable gathering of expertise and learning. And I do thank Tim Brigstock and the committee for organising what has always been a worthwhile day, and I know today will be too. And I do want to take this opportunity, because Defra clearly have a key role in a leadership role. I do want to acknowledge what Jeanette Allen, in her leadership in forming the British Horse Council, combining the Equine Sector Council and the British Horse Industry Federation into one voice. I think that is a very strong message. And similarly, Nick Russ, CEO of the British Horse Racing Authority, along with colleagues from the Thoroughbred Breeders Association and Weatherby's, for the real engagement with Defra on the challenges and opportunities for the UK thoroughbred industries as we prepare to leave the EU. And I'm also particularly fortunate on the Animal Health and Welfare Board for England. Michael Seals is here, I know, but I do want to express my gratitude for the equine expertise which Professor Tim Morris brings to its essential work. And I continue to be impressed by the drive and determination of the sector, working to enhance the welfare of an animal which is obviously very close to our hearts. Riding horses, indeed being thrown from them, I believe is one of the greatest of levellers. Clearly, making the most of the opportunities afforded by EU exit is essential. We must not only maintain but enhance our great equine tradition. I know how important the international movement of equines is to many of you, and the critical role of the tripartite agreement. My priority for day one is the movements to continue with minimal delay and bureaucracy, while safeguarding welfare, biosecurity and disease control. Where change is necessary, let us work together to ensure it is in the interest of the horse and ourselves. We have always had a good understanding of the key issues of the sector, and we need to continue to drill down into the precise detail of the implications and ensure that every voice within the sector has been heard. To this end, we will shortly embark on an extensive period of more directed stakeholder engagement. The UK equine industry is a global exemplar, and I would like to take every opportunity afforded by exit to enhance our international reputation for the future. Continuing to work constructively together to achieve our common goals is an essential component of that. Turning to regulations for horse riding establishments. For many, their love for riding and working with horses begins in riding establishments. It is vital they act as ambassadors of modern welfare standards. In order to deliver this, we laid regulations before Parliament in February, meaning that licensees will have to abide by these standards in order to acquire and maintain a license. And I should say at this junction, no one who abides those standards has anything to worry about at all. This is about raising standards throughout. Debates on the new regulations will take place later this month in both houses. If accepted by Parliament, the regulations will come into force on the 1st of February. And we've not stopped there. We've also put renewed emphasis on appropriate training and qualification of inspectors. And we could not have done this alone, and I would like to thank members of the Equine Sector Council for their work in helping to formulate the new regulations and guidance. We've also updated the Horse Welfare Code. Of course, we all have a duty of care for these extraordinary animals, and it is so important when we ask these animals to work for us that we ensure that they are cared for with the highest respect and do not suffer pain. I attended the 90th anniversary reception of the World Horse Welfare on Tuesday, and I was particularly struck by what Her Royal Highness said on these matters about the emphasis that we must not, in what we do, cause pain. And so I do congratulate Rowley Owers and all at the World Horse Welfare on their achievements over 90 years and more to come. And to enhance welfare, we must look across the entire sector. The Horse Code contains a wealth of information about good welfare and the requirements of the Animal Welfare Act. And again, I'm most grateful to the Horse Trust for helping us update the code. The code was laid before Parliament in December and will come into force next month. We often distinguish between health and welfare, but in my mind they are absolutely intertwined. I'm pleased we continue to advance as a nation on equine health. Indeed, the UK remains a front runner. And I highlight the work of the Equine Disease Coalition together with the Animal Health Trust, the British Equine Veterinary Association and the Thoroughbred Breeders Association in developing a pilot to increase industry responsibility for the control of contagious equine metritis. And also, our scientists at Pirbright are for the first time developing models of disease spread in the UK horse population and currently testing UK midge populations for their capacity to spread African horse sickness. We have recently developed a new fast and portable diagnostic test, and there has been encouraging progress in terms of vaccine. I turn to ragwork only because I've been dealing with some correspondence on the matter, and I took a rather strong view. This is a matter in which I do receive, as I say, correspondence, and I recognise that for many landowners, there are, with equine and livestock interests, that this does need to be taken seriously. And I would like to take the opportunity to promote the excellent toolkit developed by the British Horse Society, available on their website. And I do hope that all agencies, and particularly in the livestock areas, will please take note that this is a very dangerous part for people to have close to livestock. The equine passport regulation, I'm getting on to the areas where I think we're all in the frustrated mode, but I am pleased that we will be laying the new regulations on the equine passport regulation as soon as is practicable. And having listened closely to the sector, we intend to extend microchipping requirements to all equidae of all ages, and I do note there is strong support for the introduction of civil sanctions as an alternative to prosecutions for breach of the rules. I recognise the role also of the semi-wild ponies as part of the national herd and our heritage, and at Defra we are looking closely at the detail in order to find what I believe is the right balance of flexibility for feral ponies while safeguarding welfare and the need for robust procedures at slaughter. And on the Central Equine Database, there has been a tremendous amount of hard work, some complexity to get this ready for launch. And I appreciate the efforts of many PIOs that have provided their data. But I have to be candid, not all of those records were of the top order, and it has taken considerable time and effort to remedy. And further than that, there are a small number of PIOs who have not been forthcoming in supplying their data as their peers. And this is holding up completion. And I would encourage everyone, because I do believe this equine database is a force for good. We do need to engage with everyone if we are to have a fully up-to-date central equine database. I'm very pleased that the system is now up and running, with a majority of PIOs and well in excess of 1 million records. And this means that the database can finally play its part in safeguarding welfare and the food chain. You'll shortly be hearing from Stuart Everett from Equine Register, so if there are any questions, may I very tactfully suggest that they might be moved into this direction at time. I'm sorry that my time is getting short, and I've been very lucky not to have the card yet, but I would have liked to stay the whole day, but unfortunately the Chief Whip this afternoon was scheduled for me to reply to a debate on inland waterways. But earlier this morning I discussed with Chief Constable Dave Jones on matters relating to the rural crime strategy, its focus on livestock, and I welcome this additional focus, and I'm looking forward to future collaborations with the Chief Constable. I'm also very sorry to be missing all of the afternoon. I did want to flag out, I'm so sorry I'm not hearing about the Suffolk horse. I live in Suffolk, and we should champion these great heavy horses and rare animals. And so I've spoken about a range of things that Defra is seeking to do. We want to do more. We want to have the British reputation of the strongest animal health and welfare legislation, and that must continue. It's not enough, 10 minutes if I may say, to fully extend and promote the importance of equines in the UK to the very fabric of our society. They're central to the rural economy, to sport, recreation, accessibility to people of all abilities, and a passion for millions of people which I share. But you know that already, everyone here. My responsibility is to ensure we have the right framework of legislation and regulation in place to foster the health and well-being of the horse. This last year, in collaboration with many of you here, we have made advances. I look forward to this continuing as we all champion the animal that has and continues to enhance our lives.
Thank you very much, Minister. We have got some roving mics, so are there any questions for the Minister? I'm not sure how long you can stay, Minister.
Oh, I'm going to stay till about 1:45.
Oh, right, okay.
But I did want questions as well. If I may.
So thank you very much, Minister. I think we'll move on to the next session. And as you are here, you may get some further questions when you've heard from Stuart and from John Bourne, as well as from Jeanette and Lynn.
Probably the most shocking thing was that it was like a graveyard with the walking dead.
They had so many lice on them that we had to do a full body clip to get rid of all the parasites before we could even start treating them.
The scale of it seemed enormous.
I think it opened the eyes of many members of the British public who hadn't seen animal cruelty before.